Welcome back, top performer. Working with difficult people can be a real challenge. Like, if given the choice, you might prefer to be stuck in a room with a hungry bear. In this video, we're going to discuss 2 mindset shifts that have helped me more easily collaborate with these work grizzlies. I don't know why I'm suddenly stuck on this bear thing, but let's let it roar.
Bear with me.
All right, in life, there are things we can control and things we can't control. We can control our thoughts, our attitude, our efforts, our attention, our reactions, our mood, our persistence, our curiosity, and our motivation. We can't control other people, economics, crazy leaders, this changing world, bears. The things we can control are generally related to our own ability to self-manage. Everything else is generally out of our control, but we can influence them, and I'll share how in a minute. But first, I have a question for you. Can you name the most important thing to each person? It's themselves, or ourselves. Now, you might be thinking, this isn't true, Michael. I care more about my child, for example. I'd put my child's life before my own. Well, so would I. But why? Because they are my world. They provide me with pride, love, joy, significance. I'd prioritize their life before my own because it is ingrained in my identity that they are my future and I their protector. If I fail at that, I fail in what I have defined as my job in life. My significance is in succeeding as a parent. It can also be succeeding as a boss, entrepreneur, or whatever else is ingrained in my belief system or your belief system. One of the most valuable strategies for improving relationships with difficult people is to focus on making them feel important. Because if we understand that each person is seeking significance, we can more easily work with them by adopting a mindset of understanding and empathy. So how do we apply this to working with difficult people? Well, even the grumpiest bear will be more likely to play nice if you offer him a big juicy salmon. Or, some sort of show of appreciation for their contributions and acknowledge their value.
I value you. We all value you.
By building rapport and fostering a positive dynamic, you can turn a potentially difficult situation into a more harmonious one. The second mindset shift that makes interacting with difficult people easier is to remember that humans frequently make irrational decisions. We know they may not be the right choices for us, but in that moment, we decide it's a good idea to stand on the edge of a cliff and take a photo of ourselves over the Grand Canyon. I use that example because I think at least once a month, I read one of those stories where it happens and somebody unfortunately meets their demise.
Why would they do that?
According to Dan Ariely's book, Predictably Irrational, human behavior is more predictable than we think. When it comes to making decisions, we often believe we are being rational. However, this is not always the case. For example, we may make poor choices related to our health, such as smoking or neglecting to exercise or eating our vegetables.
Don't judge me. I'm not judging.
We may also struggle with financial decisions such as failing to save for retirement or living paycheck to paycheck. Additionally, we may give up on our career aspirations or fail to advocate for ourselves even when we know it is the right thing to do. Ariely's research shows that when we are under stress, temptation, fear, or pleasure, our ability to think logically is impaired. This is when we make emotional decisions that are not in our best interest, such as taking a picture on the edge of a Grand Canyon or... Ariely's experiments demonstrate that humans are prone to make irrational decisions when faced with these type of situations. If we recognize that humans are irrational, it can be easier to not get upset when we see others behaving in irrational ways. This can give us an advantage in a conversation as we are able to remain more rational while others may be becoming agitated, spinning out of control. I found a method that works well for me. You may laugh at it, but that's sort of the point as it snaps you out of the situation. First, let's set up this picture. You see that lady down at the end of the table? She forgot to feed her dog this morning. The guy on the right slept in, dropped off his kids at school without breakfast. The shame. The guy to her right cut off a pregnant lady on the way to work. Yeah, there may have been a middle finger involved. Oh, and that guy up in front picked up his phone while he was paying for his drink at Starbucks, held up 6 people in line. The nerve. They're all FHBs, aka fallible human beings. Not already obvious, I'm maybe a bit of a weirdo. So if someone cuts me off, I'll sometimes mutter or yell, "You FHB!" It quickly makes me laugh and brings the emotion back to where they should be, as I can chuckle at myself instead of getting agitated.
It's a little weird.
Now, next time you're out, try it. In your own head, or if you know that they can't hear you out loud, call them an FHB in your car. Maybe it's going to help you alleviate your own stress. It's hard not to snap yourself out of the emotional moment when you do this, because you realize that you too have had your moments of irrational behavior. You too are a FHB, a fallible human being. Therefore, You get your mind to focus on what you have in common versus your emotional state that seeks to make you better than them. Here's another technique to try. When someone upsets you, create your own story for it. Not the first one that often pops in your head about how that person made you feel, but instead one where you empathize with them and attach a meaning that drives you away from negative emotional response. For example, if a person is late to your meeting, rather than think, how dare they, try, they must be really busy today. Or consider the reality that it could impact their brand, but nothing that you can't work with. Sometimes I'll just have fun with it by attaching a silly reason, like they probably had to rescue a kitten from a tree on their way. Heroes. Or they ran out of toilet paper in the bathroom. That sucks. While these might not be magical pills that you can give to that difficult person, sounds like I'm suggesting cyanide, which I'm not, these are two mindset shifts you can make when working with difficult people. They've helped me tremendously to de-escalate frustrating situations as it redirects my thinking to what the other person wants and not just myself. Through that, I'm more likely to achieve the outcome I want. So when dealing with difficult people, remember these two things. The most important thing to each person is themselves. And one guarantee with all humans, we are all irrational FHBs. Speaking of fallible, I should have probably included this one, so I'm gonna add it now. This one stuck with me for a long time. It's what you fight, you ignite. Often our brains flip us into fight mode when they don't really need to be. This sometimes causes us to make a situation even worse. Choose your battles wisely and remember arguing with a fool proves there are two. Difficult people are difficult, but I have found that leveraging these mental shifts make 80% of my conversations easier. I'm still working on the other 20%. We all have our struggles and weaknesses.
Speak for yourself.
When it comes to working with people in general, and particularly difficult people, it's important to remember that we see the world through our lens. And if we want to work with people who are difficult, sometimes the easiest way to do so is to change our perspective. I like how Ray Dalio summarizes this. He says, regarding people, if you saw them free of the distortions produced by your ego or your blind spots, you would be able to deal with them more effectively. If you could acquire this ability, and with practice you can, you will radically improve your life. I'll see you at the top. That's it for this lesson. I hope you found it valuable. If so, this is one of the core lessons from my Career Accelerator system. If you want the full course with the workbook, scripts, and bonus tools, you can get access at careeraccelerator.me. Or you can dive into the next lesson here.